Hello Frugalistas, how are you? Welcome to another budget blog post, and today's post is all about moving, and the questions that I'm going to answer today come from my reader Kate in Kansas City, and she's getting ready to move to a new apartment, and she has some questions that she wanted answered, so I'm going to answer those today. And if you're getting ready to move, I hope this can be helpful for you as well. And I also just moved. I moved from Bellevue to Seattle, so I've got very recent information to give. So enjoy. And the first question was, what is a list of expenses that I can expect in moving when renting? And first off, there's the deposit. You can have two different types of deposit. The first one is a refundable deposit and a non-refundable deposit. And make sure you know the difference when you're going to sign a lease, because if you put down $1,000 and only 100 of that is refundable, you want to know where the other 900 is going. So make sure you ask that question, is this refundable, is it not? And it should be in your lease for you to look over later. Another expense that you're going to come across, of course, is an application fee. The apartment community or the house that you're renting, the landlord wants to know, have you committed any crimes? If so, what is it? And so they're going to run a background check and a credit check. And they're going to probably charge you for that fee. Fees can range anywhere from $20 to $80 a person. So really make sure that you're only applying to places that you know you'll get into, that you know your credit's going to be good enough, because you don't want to keep having to pay that fee. And really only apply to apartments that you actually want to live in. Don't just start spreading applications out there, because you're going to end up paying for that in the long run. Other fees that you can encounter in moving is a moving expense. If you rent a moving truck, or if you need to rent a moving service, if you need to hire a cleaner, there's those different kind of expenses as well. But I think the main ones that you're going to come up against is that deposit, and then also the application fee. So just be prepared for those, because the deposit can range anywhere from no deposit if you have really good credit to as much as your first month's rent. And sometimes a landlord can demand that they have deposit, first month, and last month rent. So moving really can be kind of expensive if you're not prepared for that. So another question Kate had was, do I need to overlap rent in order to make moving easier? So in other words, should she rent out the new apartment while she's still in the old apartment? Well, I actually did that. When I moved, I knew that it was going to take us a while, just with our work schedules, to move from one house or one apartment to the next. And so we overlapped by about 5 days. It was, our rent came down to $30 a day, and so with 5 days, it was about $150 of overlap. But it was, for us, very much worth it, because we weren't stressed out. We could move on our schedule, and we also didn't have to hire a moving service. So if you need to be out right away, you might have to rent a moving service, which is going to cost you at least $150. So for us, it was somewhat equal whether or not to just move out in one day or overlap the rent. So it's really about your personal situation and just comparing the costs. The stress isn't really worth it when moving. So if you can afford to, shell out a couple dollars for that overlap, then I say go ahead and do it. It could be a really smart choice, and you have that time to transition from one place to the next, and really you're not stressed out over the move. So yes, if it makes sense, no if it doesn't. Kate's next question was, do I need to deep clean my apartment or hire a cleaner in order to get my deposit back? This is a really interesting question, because it depends on the apartment or the house that you're renting. And what you can do is ask your landlord. Just ask them, how clean do I need to leave this place? Do I need to go in and scrub the grout in the bathroom floor? Or can I just, clean up, get everything out, scrub the wall, the dirt, and that's good? Do I just need to get my stuff out? Is that good enough? Because a lot of apartments will come in and clean after you, which was the case when we moved. So we just did a basic cleaning and called it good. But you can ask your landlord and make sure you do that so that you know how clean you need it to be. Because why would you hire a deep cleaning service if all you need to do is just get your stuff out? So be sure to consult with the landlord to make sure you know how much cleaning to do. And also what you can do is set up an appointment with your landlord to go over a walkthrough with you after you've cleaned up and got all your stuff out. And they will tell you, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done in order for you to get your deposit back. So if you think it looks spick and span, but then the landlord comes in and says, well, actually, we're going to charge you to have to clean this, you can make sure that you can clean it before you get charged. So, this is, especially if you're going to overlap your rent, make sure to take advantage of this and schedule that appointment for the day you're moving out. So early in the morning, so that you can really make sure that your apartment or house is up to their standard. So go ahead and schedule that appointment with the landlord, do the walkthrough with them so that you know how much you're going to get charged. And also do I hire a cleaner, do I clean myself? It's really how clean of a person are you? Are you somebody who enjoys cleaning? Are you somebody that's going to pay attention to those small details? Or are you just going to rush through it? When we were moving out of our apartment, I was going through and I cleaned the stove and I cleaned the grout in the bathtub, and I hit those extra spaces, and my boyfriend was just like scrubbing things down, and I went, well, we actually need to clean this. But right before we left, we opened the dishwasher and we said, oh my gosh, there's still dirty dishes in there. And that's after I had asked him, to scrub down on the counters on that side. So if you're going to be like me, and I'm going to toot my own horn here, if you're going to be like me and make sure that every little detail is taken care of and clean, don't hire a cleaner, save your money. If, however, you're like my boyfriend and you just think that as long as your stuff is out and it's good to go, maybe you should hire a cleaner just to make sure that they get those little spots. So those are some things to consider if you're thinking about hiring a move-out cleaner. And move-out cleaning is often more expensive than regular cleaning. So keep that in mind. If you can hire a cleaner for $12 an hour, usually, expect to pay quite a bit more than that, $15, $20 an hour.